Anything else?
Yeah, we follow the presenter. And it turns off the ignore zone, so if there's any noise that comes back here, it'll switch the camera back here. So I don't think we want that. But. Yeah, it is. That's so funny. Cause we're so far away.
So it'll be turned towards you anyway, won't it?
Yeah, so if I start talking here, did it switch it, or did it? It did.
Mhm. But it still has me.
Has both of us, both of us.
Mhm.
Did it switch? And it still has you. So there's one here. And there's one here,
Mhm.
but does it still have you?
Mhm. In the middle.
Are there three?
Mhm.
Oh, we don't want that. So I need to ignore. Zone.
You want it to just. You just want it to go that direction, not 360, so you just want it
And I think-
180.
See, now we're talking and it's not. It's not picking us up over here, so
Mhm.
now it's only there.
Okay, so you
Um,
guys go up there.
But it almost looks like, I wonder if I can move it over a little. Okay, so that's that view, we don't want that view. Or that,
This one? Is that?
that's that, so you can see the mic stand in the back
Yeah,
right there.
yeah.
That didn't change anything.
Zoom out a little bit. And back down, apparently.
I don't. Slide from select an area of the sphere. Use now to ignore when it's auto focusing. So this is verbal ignore. So, there. Okay. And this is how much is it going to ignore? Not to ignore a lot of it. Yeah, talk right there, Lance.
Hello. I can't believe I'm doing this presentation again.
It's been a really long day too, I'm sure.
Well, if you're there. Chair is low. There. Can you see both of us or just him?
Both of you. In one view,
Right, that's probably what we want.
okay. Except if the one person is looking bored, we're gonna see that you're looking bored instead of this.
Is he gonna
You don't-
talk the whole time during this
So you don't
presentation?
want it a split screen.
So what about being able to show the slides?
Are you gonna just
Don't we wanna
share?
share screen?
Will you share the slides on that?
So you'd only see us at the beginning and
You
at the
have them
end,
somewhere.
No, I haven't got them up yet.
but we need to be able to see that, right?
That's true. Well,
Maybe we put it up
they're
there.
up there. Figure that out. Everyone.
Now find the short one.
And remember, we're only gonna get people for a few minutes, and then they start dropping off. So we wanna make sure we do tax neutral.
Oh, you're gonna move that to the front.
Are we okay to do that? I think for this one, we have Todd start out with, maybe I could start out with just an introduction, and then we go straight to that, and then
Okay, then I need to,
move on.
So I start out by just saying, the bonds that we're gonna talk about today are considered tax neutral bonds, and here's why.
Yeah,
And then we go to the need,
yeah, I
and
think,
then we go back to the bond.
mhm.
Yeah, so we'll put this at the beginning.
Can you connect to the system?
I just want,
Make sure it's projecting.
so just put this one right at the front. So we're gonna talk about the need.
Yeah, so you'll go through the four things. Right,
Mhm.
and then we'll go to the chart. And then to the size of the district, and
Okay,
then the chart again is fine.
Yeah.
We get to the end.
Yeah, and I would just say, remember how we talked earlier? It's tax neutral.
Oh, we need to go over it again, don't we?
Okay.
All right, so that's that, and that's sharing.
Then we better get,
Connect to this back.
Does it have a color?
And I have to turn this on. Let's maybe turn that one off and back on again.
that looks exactly like it normally looks when we have to restart the whole system.
Tell me that.
Turn it back on.
Yeah. Or it's like, well, you can make see my wall plate.
Hmm,
It looks like it's on. I don't know why it's not showing anything. Oh, there it is.
Hmm. Okay. Extremely long HDMI cable.
Well, this also won't let me log into Facebook, so everything is being very,
Probably don't have the adapter.
I've got it downstairs.
I'll go grab it.
Got one?
Yeah.
All played. Looking for what happens if I? After the Facebook or what?
no, it won't let me on because it's a different device and it has two-factor notification and says you have to log in and
Do we just need to get your laptop?
good, but I don't have Zoom.
Oh,
You don't have a Zoom account through the district.
well,
Now has to update Facebook.
that's all right. We got plenty of time.
And you plugged your thing in?
We got 12
No.
minutes.
Yeah,
You're gonna-
it's fine.
Yeah, it's working.
It's not charging.
Well. no,
You have a
it's
low
not.
battery.
Oh, so I need to go get my.
Yeah.
Uh,
You have 10 more minutes to get this right.
we better be right on time because we'll have people that are like on their pins and needles waiting to watch this.
You good on advancing the slides, or do we need to be able to advance them ourselves?
I don't know what this is doing. It's bringing. Check that your
Flag behind
camera
us.
microphone inputs are
We go
proper.
presidential on this? No.
Streaming software.
Right, yeah, so you're gonna. Well, there'll be is the stream key gonna come from Zoom, or is it gonna come from Facebook?
I think from Facebook, I have to do it in the Zoom.
Alright, so. I'm gonna go back to the. Probably that's not the share. Here, live on Facebook.
What? Okay, just continue, see what it does.
We're good. We have 8 more minutes.
Yeah, continue. Just. It won't do it.
Go live,
No.
see this
it's-
public?
Go live?
I just mute this.
I don't know. I think we should wait another few minutes.
Seriously, it's gonna post on mine and share on my page? Or is it just gonna share on my page? Yeah, it's just gonna share on my page. Only thing I
Do we
worry about
trust that
is
it's gonna work?
audio and the owl. But that's set up through your Zoom, so it should be fine, right?
Should be. Email,
Okay,
what is that there? This is right here, right?
mhm.
So what happens when we do the? When we.
You could just go live and have that on your
Did you
stuff.
have to go live and then? And then share screen? Maybe that's what we should do, go live and then share screen. Let's bring up the first slide.
Should we mute it first?
start?
It's basically 5:30 right now, it's 5:30. Hello, everybody, welcome to the Facebook Live explanation of the 2023 bond for Iron County School District. My name is Lance Hatch. I'm the superintendent for Iron County School District.
I'm Todd Hess. I'm the business administrator for the district.
We're going to share our screen now and go through the details about this bond. We would like everybody to understand that it'll be about Halloween when a ballot will be delivered to the mailbox of every registered voter. That ballot will include a bond for Iron County School District. And the details of that bond are going to be shared here in just a minute. So let's bring up the presentation. The actual voting date this year is November 21st, although everyone will receive a mail-in ballot. And like I said, that should come around Halloween. We're going to share with you in this presentation the needs that we have, the solution that the 2023 bond presents, as well as a promise that we'll make to everybody in the county, and we'll show you the ballot language. So we'll start out though by making a very important point very clear.
One of the things that we want to make sure that people understand is that this bond is considered a tax neutral bond. The reason that we can call it a tax neutral bond is that your taxes that we assess for debt service for the school district are not going to increase as a result of this bond, nor will they decrease. This graph here shows the amount of tax assessed on a primary residence with a value of $405,000 over the last several years and on extending out to the estimated life of this particular bond. You can see there in 2015, the district was assessing a little over $450, close to $475 per year on a $405,000 personal residence to cover bond payments. Over the years, that amount decreased as bonds were paid off. And there was a large decrease between 2020 and 2021, and property taxes went down because we had paid off some of our old bonds. The 2021 bond that was passed, we came out and told everyone that there would be a small tax increase as a result of that bond. And you've seen those increases over the last 2 years. But you can also see that all of the previous bonds are now paid off as of 2023. So there's a little scheduled decrease in property tax assessment. Well, this proposal will just maintain property tax assessments at their current levels. That decrease won't happen, but we're also not going to increase taxes as a result of this bond.
Okay, so leading out with this proposal will not increase property taxes. However, our enrollment is increasing in the Iron County School District with 15,000 students. We have over 15,000, and our district just really isn't a small rural district anymore. We have more students than Provo School District, and we continue to increase. As you can see in the next slide, that the enrollment just continues to increase. Right about 2020, we saw an uptick, and we continue to see increases in enrollment. We saw that coming, and in 2021, we proposed a bond that would take care of Cedar High School Science Wing, an East Elementary rebuild, 2 additions onto each of the middle schools, and a Parowan multipurpose building. Some of those projects are already completed. One of them hasn't started yet, but will soon, and then a couple of them are in the works. We want to also make sure people understand that the 2021 bond did not take care of all of our needs. We knew it didn't, and back then even we told everybody that we'd be back in 2023. So here we are to finish out what we started in 2021. Bond funds cannot be used for salaries or books or technology or any other equipment. They can only be used for capital projects. That means improvement of facilities, constructing new facilities. We received money from the state of Utah to help us with all of the other costs that we have. It's the construction of facilities and the improvement of facilities. We don't receive any funding from the state. So the way the state is set up is that we come to the public and we ask them for help to be able to accomplish these projects. We have been working with the school board for probably over a year, talking about these projects. The school board has taken their time to really evaluate each of the projects, and we're happy to report that in August, they unanimously approved the projects that we'll be explaining today. So the needs that we have start out with our elementary schools. First of all, we want to acknowledge that safety and security are the number one need that we have in our school district. However, we're not addressing that need within this bond. Instead, we're finding other ways to accomplish the safety and security needs, including grants and other funding. So we're not including that, even though it's our number one priority. The other needs we have to do with the growth that we're experiencing, providing adequate facilities and access to facilities. So we'll start out with the elementary space challenges. We do have in our elementary schools just increasing enrollment in every elementary. We have utilized now all of the additional space that's been available in those schools. We have some schools that used to have rooms for music or art or computer labs, and we've taken over all those spaces for regular classrooms, especially with the addition of full-day kindergarten. This has become a really big challenge. And as we increase in enrollment, we will start to see an increase in class size. And that's unfortunate, but it's just the nature of what happens when our community is growing like it is. The challenge is that we have the funding to be able to add additional teachers. We just don't have the facility. We don't have the rooms to put them in. So that's a major need that we have. We also have a need at the high school level. We have juniors and seniors who sometimes find themselves in a situation where they don't have enough credits to graduate. They just, if they stay in their regular school system, they're not going to make it. So we have a program, we call it SEA, Southwest Education Academy. And at that school, they receive additional support. It's a totally different structure. And last year, they were able to graduate 90% of those students. It's a great program. However, we can only put 60 students in that program because we just have limited facilities. Those are the trailer houses that are right next to Southwest Tech and kind of across the street from Cedar High School. The other program that we have at the high school level that we don't have enough space for is Launch High School. That's a program where students and parents are lobbying to get in. There's a waiting list. We can't allow them into the program though, because there's not enough space. So we're proposing on this bond to address that problem with an additional facility. We also have other needs at Canyon View High School. We have a weight room that's too small for a full class. Those weight classes spill out into the grass and into the hallway. We also have a wrestling room that doubles as a dance room. So when the wrestlers are there, the dancers can't be in there. When the dancers are in there, the wrestlers can't be in there. The other issue that we have is that Canyon View High School has a capacity that is lower than Cedar High School. So we would like to be able to increase the capacity at Canyon View High School to match that of Cedar High School so that we have equivalent high schools and we can address that growth that's happening in the secondary schools. So we're proposing an addition to Canyon View High School that would add 9 additional classrooms, as well as address our needs in the dance, wrestling, and weight room. The other need that we have is artificial turf. The turf is one of the items that we put on there that on the surface, it might seem that it's not a need, but we want to express to everybody the reason why we included this in the bond. And it's not to be cool like St. George because they all have turf, and it's not because we would save millions of gallons of water every year, even though we would. And it's not so that we would save ourselves hours and hours of maintenance time, even though it would. We put it on there because we can only use our grass fields between 6 and 9 hours a week. If we use them more than that, we will not have enough grass left by the end of football season, and our kids will be playing on mud. Furthermore, if it rains, for example, we can't even use the fields at all, or else we'll tear them completely up. So we have some major limitations, and artificial turf opens those fields up, those stadiums, to basically unlimited use. We're talking PE classes, marching band, drill team, soccer, being able to play their games on those fields, as well as community events like youth soccer, youth football, and Utah summer games. We want to be able to utilize those fields as much as possible, and artificial turf makes that possible. The final need that I would express to you is the need for access to our playground equipment. We have students who have limitations in their mobility, and up until now, actually right now, they have very limited access to our playground equipment. We can fix that with a very small portion of this bond by installing ADA accessible playground equipment at every elementary and preschool.
So obviously, to complete these projects, it takes quite a significant amount of funding. What we are proposing is a $75.5 million tax neutral bond. Again, this is tax neutral, just like we explained at the beginning. That money would go towards the 5 projects that superintendent explained. The greatest portion of that would be a new elementary school at about 41%. The next largest project is an alternative programs facility that will house SEA and launch. Canyon View High School's addition, that would be an expanded weight room, a new wrestling room, and 9 additional classrooms, is about 15% of the total funding. Turf at all 3 high school fields, including moving the lights at Cedar High and Parowan High School, so that those fields would be large enough to play soccer on, is about 8% of the total funding. And then finally, the ADA accessible playgrounds at all of the elementary schools and preschools, around 4%. Last week, our board approved a project timeline. You can see that we have tried to stagger these projects in a way that we are not competing with ourselves for local construction resources. We feel that each of these projects is a high priority, and we want to get them all complete as soon as possible. But if we have too many projects going on at the same time in the same phase of construction, we compete for resources, and that typically increases the cost and could even extend the timeline for when these projects get complete. Now let's talk just a little bit more about the bond. Once again, I'll repeat, this is a tax neutral bond. And the reason for that is that we have bonds coming off from our bond schedule that have been paid off. These bonds are going to take what you're paying currently in property tax for debt service for the district. And we will have the funding necessary to complete those 5 projects. Sometimes there's some confusion on the ballot language. We are required by law to put certain information on the ballot about these bonds in a particular order. At the top of the ballot, you're going to notice that we are requesting $75,465,000 in bond authorization in order to complete construction projects and acquire land and facilities for that. The next section talks about the property tax cost of the bond. This isn't a tax increase. What this is saying is that over the life of this bond, the maximum amount per year that the average owner of a personal residence might pay is $272. Well, that's currently what that average homeowner is paying for debt service for the district in property tax assessment. The last section of the bond does talk about how much your taxes are going to go up. And this is where we indicate that it is expected that there will be no incremental property tax increase from the current annual levels as a result of this particular bond. We're excited about these projects. We're excited about this bond. We feel like this money is going to help us meet the needs that we have here in the district without causing significant tax impact on our taxpayers.
So again, 5 major projects that are very much needed in our school district as we move forward and address the growth and provide a high quality education to our students. If you have any questions, please reach out to us. You can also make comments right here in Facebook. We have a great website and it has a lot of great information. You can access that through this QR code, as well as you can find that on our homepage at irondistrict.org. So we're checking with Shauna to see if we have any questions from anyone. Can you
So far,
throw us a frequently asked question?
let me open those up. Tell us about AstroTurf or artificial turf and what the injuries are versus your natural turf.
Great question. I'll let Todd answer a little bit more, but one of the things that we've done in our research is to make sure that we definitely would never recommend something that would actually harm students. In fact, almost all the high schools in the state of Utah are going toward artificial turf, partially because of the use that we talked about before, but also because of safety. In our area, the ground can get compacted and really, really hard. Artificial turf provides us an opportunity to have a playing surface that we control, that nature isn't necessarily the driver of how hard or soft the field is. Any other thoughts on that, Todd?
Yeah, as we've done our research, we found that there is a significant amount of research out there on injuries related to artificial turf, and a lot of them are conflicting. Part of the reason for that is that some are studying professional athletes, professional football, professional soccer leagues, that type of thing. Some are collegiate, and then there are some studies related to high schools. One thing that we have found, though, in those studies in regards to high schools is that the number of significant injuries while playing on turf versus grass is about the same, if not less, on turf than grass. One of the determining factors of that is the infill that goes in the artificial grass, and making sure that we have the right number of pounds per square foot of infill on that turf. So in our cost estimates, we are using the recommended amount of infill per square foot of turf to ensure that we don't have significant injuries as a result of playing on the turf.
So with our cost estimates, we were not going with the economy line. We're
Right.
going with the highest quality turf that there is, and there's actually some research that shows that at the high school level, artificial turf decreases the number of concussions, for example, because of the design of the field. You can find out more information and you can see some of the results of that research on our website.
What will happen if the bond does not pass this year?
Yeah, great question. We don't want to find out, number one. But if the bond doesn't pass, it doesn't mean that we don't have these needs. These needs will still exist. And we will need to work with the community on a way to make those needs happen. We just can't afford to not address the needs in the district. Any other thoughts?
Well, I think one of the biggest things that will happen is that costs will continue to go up. And we won't be able to secure contracts and other things to get these projects done at today's or even tomorrow's pricing levels. We're just extended out even further. And with inflation, if it continues the way that it goes, that just increases our costs. And then class sizes, you mentioned, may have to increase in our elementary schools. And then we're not going to be able to provide some of those services at SEA or launch for some of those kids who need or want those types of educational settings.
Okay, last question. Where will the district build the 10th elementary school?
Good question. First of all, that has not been specifically determined yet. We do want to build it in the optimal location. So we are looking at where the new growth is going, likely west of town. We do have some properties. I'll let Todd talk about where we're at with that.
So we do own 3 pieces of property that are of sufficient size to put an elementary school, along with playgrounds and playing areas and that type of thing. One of those is south of town, and that's probably not the most likely location for this elementary school. The other 2 are west of town, between Three Peaks and Iron Springs. However, they're a little north maybe of where we'd like them to be. Not a lot of development that's happening right around one of those pieces. So we are looking for additional pieces of property or potential site locations for that 10th elementary school. But I think we'd like it somewhere right between Three Peaks Elementary and Iron Springs Elementary.
And we do have time built within our timeline to secure that location and make sure that we have it in the right spot.
Okay, would you like to remind the community of our next town hall?
Yes, I would love to remind the community, if I could remember when that town hall
I
is.
think it's tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night. And that one's going to be at Canyon View Middle School. We'd love to see everybody out. Anybody who has questions, we're happy to answer those questions. And it starts at 6 p.m. tomorrow night, Canyon View Middle School.
Thanks, everybody, for joining us.
Thank you.